see the Struts 2.x with Hibernate integration. Struts 2.x with Hibernate integration. Hibernate integration. Fine. See now here how to integrate this Struts framework to Hibernate framework. Now first of all we need to develop the here Hibernate related information. So now if you want to developing the one Hibernate application, now what is required? Now must and should CFG file is required. We need to develop that CFG file, Hibernate configuration file. Hibernate configuration file. After developing the Hibernate configuration file, we need to develop the HBM file. HBM file, Hibernate mapping file. The functionality of the HBM file is to map the database columns to POJO class property names. So now that is the usage of that HBM file. Hibernate configuration file is used for we can pass the connection properties inside that Hibernate configuration file, and we can pass the mapping resources as well as we can pass the Hibernate properties inside the configuration file. So like that we can develop the Hibernate application. After developing the Hibernate application, how to integrate the term Hibernate application to here Struts framework. Now first of all we need to use here Struts controllers in Hibernate in a web.xml file. How to configure Struts controller? We can configure Struts controller like this. This is web.xml file. This is web.xml file. Under first of all we have to take the web app. The next filter. The next filter name. Now here I am going to take filter name is Struts 2. Close the filter name. The next filter class. Now dispatcher.apache.dispatcher.ng. Struts prepare and execute filter. Struts prepare and execute filter. Now close the filter class. The next close the filter. The next filter mapping. Under that we can take filter name. Now what is the filter name here? Struts 2. Then close the filter name. The next URL pattern. Under that I am taking /star. This is what? Directory match. Close the URL pattern. Then next, after that, close the filter mapping. Close the filter mapping. Then finally, close the web app. Close the web app. This is the way to configuring the Struts controller inside this web.xml file. After that, we have to develop the Hibernate configuration file. We have to develop the Hibernate configuration file. So how to develop the Hibernate configuration file? So now here, first we need to pass. So now Hibernate dot cfg.xml. Under that, first we can pass connection properties. Connection properties. What are the connection properties here? What are the connection properties here? See now here, number one, Hibernate dot connection dot driver underscore class name. Driver underscore class name. Otherwise, driver class. That's enough. Hibernate dot connection dot driver underscore class. Now the second property, Hibernate dot connection dot URL. Third one, Hibernate dot connection dot username. The next, Hibernate dot connection dot password. Like this, these four are connection properties. We can pass these four properties inside the Hibernate configuration file. Then next Hibernate properties we need to pass here. What are the Hibernate properties? Number one, Hibernate dot dialect. Number two, Hibernate dot show underscore SQL. Number three, Hibernate dot HBM to DDL dot auto. These three are Hibernate properties. Then next, finally we can pass mapping resources. These three things we can pass inside this hibernate.cfg.xml. Then next, after that we can develop HBM file. How to develop the HBM file? So now we can map the POJO class properties as well as database column names. So now how it is like this. Hibernate dot HBM dot XML. So now here we can configure first of all DTD, the next Hibernate mapping, the next class name is equal to some class name. For example, here I am taking the user. Table is equal to table is equal to user 451. My table name is what? 451. Then next after that, id name is equal to some name, id1, otherwise id. Okay, then next column is equal to id. The next generator class, is equal to increment. Generator class is equal to increment. Then close the id. After that, property name is equal to some name. Then column is equal to name. Then close the class. Then close the Hibernate mapping. Close the Hibernate mapping. This is represented as a primary key. This is represented as non-primary key. Primary key and non-primary key. Like this we can developing the HBM file, we can developing the CFG file, we can develop the POJO class, and finally we can develop the here action class, right? Action class. So now here, what is that action class here? Now here I am going to take one action class, that is user. So now here public class user, public class user. Under that I am taken private int id. The next private string name. Now generate the setters and getters. Generate the setters and getters. Generate the setters and getters. After that, public string execute. In struts 2.x, action class and POJO class both we can take in a single class. So this is the POJO class, this is the action class only. So now public string execute, under that I am taken register action DAO, otherwise registration DAO dot save user. I am passing this means current class object, this class object I am passing here. Now if it is executed this statement successfully, then return success. Then close the method, close the class. This is the POJO class, this is the action class. Then next after that we need to develop the DAO class or not? Yes, must and should we need to develop the DAO class. How to develop the DAO class here? Now try to understanding. How to develop the DA class? Now we'll see here. Now I am going to develop DAO class. I am going to develop DAO class here. Public class registered DAO. Registration DAO. Under that, what we have to take, here I am going to take this method implementation, right? This method implementation I am going to take. How to take that method implementation? We can take like this. First, what we have to do, we need to load the configuration file. How to load the configuration file? Here, configuration conf is equal to new configuration. Under that, conf dot configure. Now hibernate.xml file we can pass here. hibernate.cfg.xml. The next, because of this configuration, we can import what? Import org.hibernate.star package. The next, import org.hibernate.cfg.star package. The next, after that, session factory, right? Session factory is equal to now what we have to take? Now we have to take here conf dot build session factory. Then next, after that, session is equal to factory.open session. Then next, after that, we can call this method public. Now here static int save user. Under that, I am passing user v. After that, what we have to do? Now session dot save. So now here, now we can typecasting integer session dot save of v. Then this is going to be returns what? Integer. Now return k. So before that, we have to take what? Transaction tx equal to session dot begin transaction. Transaction tx equal to session dot begin transaction. Now transaction tx equal to transaction tx equal to session dot begin transaction. transaction tx equal to session dot begin transaction. Begin transaction. The next session dot save. Session dot save. The next after that tx dot commit. Commit. Then finally return key. Close the method, close the class. This is the way to developing the DAO class. This DAO class is going to be communicating to database, and it is going to be inserting into that record into database. This is the database. This is the database. Oracle DB, right? So like this we can use Struts 2 controller, and we can use the Hibernate framework, and we can integrating them both, right? So now where we are using the Struts, here we are using the Hibernate inside the register DAO. Okay, now our Struts controller is going to be calling this execute method. This execute method is going to be called by the Struts controller. Whenever this execute method is called, then registration DAO dot save user. Now automatically this class is going to be activated, and it is going to be calling to this method. Now this method is going to be returns to some value. Once with this getting the return back to the once again response back, once it is inserted successfully. Now response is coming back. Once response is coming back, then return success. Now this Struts prepare and execute filter is already going to be reading to the Struts configuration file. What is that Struts configuration file here? We will see. Now this Struts configuration file is going to be reading to the Struts prepare and execute filter is going to be reading to the Struts configuration file. This is Struts configuration file. Struts.xml. First we have to take the DTD. The next root element called Struts. Root element called Struts, and include file is equal to struts-default.xml. Default.xml. The next after that here package name is equal to some name, package name, some xyz, extends struts-default. Struts-default. Under that action name is equal to some name, registration. That means this is the URL pattern, and class is equal to, which class we can configure here? User. We have to configure user. If it is a fully qualified class name is there, then we can take complete name, user, right? Class is equal to user. The next after that result name is equal to success, and path is equal to, now here slash success.jsp. Then close the result. The next result name is equal to failure, then failure.jsp, then close the result, then finally close the action, then close the package, then close the struts. That's enough. We can place this configuration file in where? Inside the classes folder. Now once this action class is executed, now response is coming back. Once the response is coming back, it is going to be written success. Now this success message is coming to the once again to Struts prepare and execute filter. This is the controller. Now this controller is going to be looking inside this struts configuration file. Now inside this struts configuration file, what is there? Success message is there. Here it is getting the success message, and this success both are same, and finally now the struts controller is going to be displayed by the success.jsp. This is our final output, right? So now where we can use the here Hibernate framework inside the Struts framework in a DAO class. In a DAO class I used what? Okay, that Hibernate related concept, right? Now we'll see this example practically, right? See, this is my example. Index.jsp and welcome.jsp. Index.jsp and welcome.jsp. So now in this index.jsp, I am entered name and click the registration. Then automatically registration is done. First the request is received by the controller. Where is the controller? Here Struts prepare and execute filter. This is the controller. After that it is going to be executed in which class? So it is going to be executed by the in which class? User. This is the user. So this is the ID, this is the name. Save user, registered DAO.save user I am calling. So once we are calling that one, then automatically this registered DAO is going to be executed. This registered DAO is going to be executed. So now public static int save user. Then next under that I am loading to the in a single line I am going to loading the entire struts configuration file and everything. After that transaction tx equal to session.begin transaction, then session.save, then finally session.close, return I. That's enough. Now once it is written I, this is going to be written success. Now this success message is going to be received by the Struts prepare and execute filter. Now this Struts prepare and execute filter already is loaded by the that struts.xml file. Right? This is the struts.xml file. So this success, that success both are same. then automatically it is going to be displaying what? Welcome.jsp. And here I am using the Hibernate configuration file and user.hbm file. Both are configuration files only. In Hibernate.cfg.xml I am going to placing connection properties as well as mapping resource, connection property, and the next dialect class. Dialect class I am passing here. And hbm2 ddl.auto. We can pass like this. Then automatically table is going to be created and it is going to be inserting into the data into database table. Right? Now we'll see here HBM file. Where is my HBM file? This is my HBM file. Hibernate mapping, username. Okay, now here class name equal to com.java tpoint.user and table is equal to user 451. Then ID, generated class I am using what? Increment. Close the ID. Now name. The next, close the property. That's enough. Now we'll see here. I am going to deploying this project into Tomcat server. Now copy this example and I am going to deploying this example into Tomcat server web apps. Under that we can place. This is called a deployment of the project. Then next after that we need to start the server. Now my server is trying to starting. Server is started. Now server is started. So after that, first of all, we have to remove that database table in our database user 451. Go to the database and we can check. Connect durgatech/durgatech. The next select star from user 451. So now here one table is there. Now I am going to dropping that table also. Drop table name is what? User 451. User 451. Over. Table is going to be dropped. Now I am not creating the table also. Table creation also is take care about the framework only. Now open the browser and we'll make a request. Now I am opening the here browser. I am opening the browser. http colon / localhost colon 2014. Now click on Tomcat Manager. The next admin. Now web root. This is our home page. Now we can enter here Durga. Now we can enter here Durga, then registered. Here it is coming one field. In real time 20-30 fields also we can take. Now what it is coming? Welcome to Durga. Now go to the database and we can check. Select star from user 451 over. Now it is going to be inserted one record. Like this, here 20 fields, 30 fields also we can take, and we can perform to this type of operations is very easy, right? This is totally struts 2.x, 1.x, as well as this integration, Hibernate integration, right? That's all. Thank you.